best example of a decentralized exchange. But to explain Serum, we'd probably have to explain Solana. And Solana is another one of our picks for this conversation. So Solana is interesting because it is a mix of proof of stake and proof of history. Maybe you can give a quick rundown on what proof of stake is, just like very high level,
Cool.
for
Uh,
our listeners.
I think we've already been through this in the Chainlink episode and smart contracts, but we can do it a small rehash.
Yeah,
So in proof of work, basically the whole concept is like this: I provide mining equipment, like technical equipment, in order to prove that I'm supporting the ecosystem by allocating resources in terms of processing power. So, okay, I'm invested in this. I'm gonna support it. I'm not just gonna use these computers for a day and then go off. So, which means that the ecosystem is supported. There's people like putting money into it. It's likely a long-term thing, right? So that's proof of work. It's
yeah,
basically showing your dedication to the concept, to the coin, to the chain by allocating processing power. The
yeah.
problem with
Just
that is, yeah,
just to
go.
zoom in, a little bit more on proof of work is proof of work. It uses nodes on the network to reach consensus, meaning that there's sort of a few parties, so to say, in the network or the program that have to agree, right? And the nodes, they solve puzzles. Those puzzles are all living on on a blockchain, but the mining computers are used to solve these puzzles, right? And every time a puzzle gets solved, it mines 1 Bitcoin.
Yeah.
And this is why you need all of these computers, because they're all working to do this. And the reason why, and that's why it's called proof of work, because they're working. They're working to then result in a Bitcoin after they've solved those cryptographic puzzles.
Yeah.
So, yeah, go ahead.
Uh, and then, like I was saying, like it's a good solution, and actually, I think most people who are Bitcoin maximalists are also proof of work maximalists, but I might be wrong. Bitcoin is purely proof of work, but the problem with this, as you probably heard, is the processing power. You need power to actually, power it up in terms of energy. And if you want to allocate huge processing power, just like with everything in the universe, you need huge energy input. Which means that as the network grows and as proof of work grows, it needs more power. Which isn't bad if it's, for example, if that power is renewable, or if you have like an unlimited source, but we don't have it yet, not to that extent. So proof of work is a bit rudimentary, and it's a bit not very friendly, at least from these points of view. Not to mention then shortages of chips, and just the idea of allocating mining equipment to basically keep a network alive, which is not bad. It's super good concept, but if you have a better solution, there might be a better solution.
Right.
Uh, for example, Ethereum, and Vitalik has spoken about this a lot. They decided, okay, they're gonna have proof of stake, and obviously there's a lot of other networks that use proof of stake. Ethereum is gonna migrate from proof of work purely to proof of stake. Cool. Now, proof of stake is basically the same thing, except that using instead of showing the network, you support it by having mining equipment of being capable to do work. You support it by holding a token of that network with huge monetary value. For example, I have 10,000 Ethereum, and I'm staking it, which means I'm blocking it for the network to use, for me to show the fact that I support the network.
Yes. And to add to that, proof of stake doesn't use consensus like in Bitcoin, where it needs sort of multiple nodes it nominates one validator to validate the next block.
Yeah.
So just to add on to what you were saying, after that validator has validated the next block, it can move on instead of needing um, different multiple different factors to
Yeah.
then decide that this block is valid,
Exactly.
and it cuts out basically unnecessary processing,
Yeah.
and that's why it's faster.
Yeah.
So I'll take the baton from here.
I
Oh,
just want
sorry,
to
go
have,
ahead.
yeah. While it might seem that, for example, it's risky that somebody with money just comes in and they'll be like, okay, I have a percentage of the Ethereum network. I'm just gonna do bad things with it.
Yeah,
First off,
it's called the 51% attack.
yeah, and
Yeah,
if I'm not mistaken, I think Vitalik said that you need more than half, and I think he said something you need like almost 70% in order to be able to completely take over the network. But then why would you buy 70% of something just to crash it? That's a totally different story. But
yeah.
up until
You
yeah,
would lose yourself if you did
yeah,
that. So
obviously. So
therefore, the incentives are aligned in such a way that you wouldn't hurt yourself. You know, if you own half of the network, why would you want to crash it?
yeah, but then again, it has internal regulations in the network. If you try to do something shady, people can context can not context wow can contest your transaction,
Sort of
and
veto.
if you're proven to having been malicious, you basically your stake or a portion of your stake gets burned. So it's a regulated system.
Mhm. Solana uses proof of stake, which we just talked about, and it primarily, however, uses proof of history, which is a sort of novel concept, and it's based on entropy. So the simplest way to explain this is the law of entropy says that, you know, if a thing sort of ages and you can tell the time that it was aging, you're also able to sort of timestamp it. And proof of history works in that way. So if I was to say, take an image of a banana, right? A new banana, a ripe banana, and then a banana that is like, you know, 10 days old. Because of the law of entropy, we know that this never reverses. So you won't have a black banana in the beginning.
Yeah.
You will always know that this is an old banana. And if you took a picture, right, of multiple of a banana at multiple ages, right, you would be able to, if you mix them all together, you would be able to tell which one came first and which one came last, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the same way Solana uses proof of history by using history timestamps. So by using this method, they've solved what both proof of work tried to do and proof of stake, which is needing a validator. Solana does this automatically because of the law of entropy and because of proof of history. So using time as an essential part of the platform, um, it allows them to get through transactions quicker. So one payment was done at a certain time, another payment was done after that, and another payment was done after that. And the block validates this automatically because it knows that it came at that time. And you know, when you hear this for the first time, you think to yourself like, how has nobody
Yeah,
thought of
exactly.
it in the first place?
Yeah.
But you know, I guess it's easy to talk about, but it's hard to do. And they somehow managed to do it through the structure of Solana, and this is why Solana is so powerful. I believe Ethereum does how many transactions per second? Maybe like 15,
60.
60. Hold on. Second, 30, 30 per second apparently from the street.com. Okay.
Yeah.
Solana does, I believe, 50,000.
Yeah.
So, um, just to make sure I'm not giving wrong information. Yeah, yeah, crazy. So Solana does 50 to 65,000 transactions per second through this proof of history framework, and this allows them to compete directly with any other platform. And what's crazy about it is that Solana at a layer one solution is already outcompeting Ethereum layer two. So even if Ethereum updates itself, Solana will still be faster.
Yeah, but as I think either Hoskins or Vitalik was saying, you have to give something up. There's
Yeah,
no. So I'm not that well read in Solana, but they were saying this like there's no such thing as fast, reliable, secure, everything. So surely maybe there are some drawbacks in the Solana ecosystems in terms of security comparing to the Ethereum network. But depending on how well that is enforced in applications or something, maybe it's not such a big deal.
yeah. So basically, Solana is that's the difference. Also, is Solana is very open and transparent about what they do. They're trying to they're really trying to go directly for the financial space. Therefore, they are incorporated. I mean, they're getting a lot of VC funding. I think they closed a 450 million round, another 300 million round by Andreessen Horowitz, who are also early stage investors at Coinbase and stuff like that. The
Yeah.
founders are all public. It's a very legitimate business if you think about it in that way. So it's different than Ethereum in that regard because the Ethereum is essentially the people working there are the Ethereum Foundation. So it works more as a non-profit than a business, so to say. Um, so Solana is more incorporated, I would say, and it's also not sort of denying the fact that it's centralized. So you're right in saying that they traded off something for it. But yeah, what is not deniable is the fact that they do have such fast transaction speeds, and for the fact that they are incorporated, they actually are. They have a better setup than say XRP or something like that, you know.
Hmm.
Um, and yeah, maybe that's the closest you can compare it to. Like it's like a legit XRP or Ripple.
Yeah. I mean,
With a novel actually solution because proof of history is very very legit, and yeah, other coins don't have it as well made as Solana has, and Solana also used Rust to program this coin. And Rust, I believe, is voted as the number one programming language on GitHub, and it's not easy. So it filters out a lot of the non-serious developers. So that's another really big selling point on it. And if you hear the founders talking about it, they're very passionate about the project. And I think the founder Anatoly Yakovenko was his, yeah, Anatoly Yakovenko. He's from Qualcomm, and I think he was there in the early days.
yeah.
And yeah, so they're a very very impressive group of people working there, and the main narrative is really bringing finance people to crypto, and that's why I think they're straying a little bit away from the decentralized aspect of it. Um, yeah. So
Uh,
go ahead.
I I just want to say the whole thing with centralized, decentralized. Like, obviously, crypto is about decentralization, but like in the end, I don't think we can live. I'm not trying to be like ultra realistic or objective here, but like there's nothing bad to have some aspects of the market which are centralized, you know? Like I think you can have a mixture of both. For example, like we were talking regarding exchanges, some of them being regulated, some of them being centralized, some of them being decentralized. You can basically have an of a crypto ecosystem where certain aspects are decentralized, certain aspects aren't decentralized, and they're centralized. And it's not necessarily the worst case scenario, because in the end, like we were saying in the chat as well, there's always going to be the connection between centralization and decentralization. It's, or at least until everything is AI or everything is computer governed, there's always going to be centralizations. Until we have, for example, governments, we're going to have centralization in our lives. So there will be a deck, a rail between centralization and decentralization,
Yeah, I
right?
agree. I agree.
So yeah,
There will be a time where you have to find a some sort of connection between the two, because like things don't big things don't succeed in silos, so they don't succeed in exclusion.
yeah,
They only succeed in inclusion. So crypto will at some point have to merge with our traditional financial infrastructure, and that will include some centralization.
exactly,
But
exactly.
yeah, the question is just what can be avoided and what cannot be avoided.
Hmm.
And the ones that get that right, I think long term win.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think we covered pretty much all I wanted to talk about here in terms of Solana. So check out the project. I think they're still under $30. I'm incredibly bullish on Solana as a alternative to um, Ethereum, and it's, in my opinion, it's got the biggest shot at replacing Ethereum based on their team, based on the people working on it, based on just the speed and the ease of use of the platform. I'm not sure if you ever use Serum. I would highly
No.
recommend it. FTX looked at Solana and created FTX is another exchange, by the way. Looked at Solana and then created Serum right after they saw Solana,
Hmm.
and their
Okay.
price discovery is quicker than the New York Stock Exchange. So and price, and if you're a trader, if you're really trading on news, on public sentiment, the moment the news hits of something important, it's really the price discovery of the platform that you're using that you can capitalize on. Because
Yeah.
if the price discovery isn't quick enough, you'll miss the boat. So Solana price discovery is crazy. And yeah, again, the platform was created using Rust. I myself am not a programmer. I just know a few, including yourself,
Yeah.
that then explained to me like what are the really the movers and shakers in the field, and Rust being one of the greatest languages I've heard mentioned. And the beauty about it, like I said earlier, is that it creates such a big barrier for entry. And the bigger the barrier for entry, the more excellent people you're going to get through, because they go through the hassle of learning something very difficult, and it shows their commitment, right?
Yeah.
So, they're willing to eat glass, so to say, and stare into the abyss. And yeah, so needless to say, I'm very bullish on Solana. I think everyone should check it out. I think last bull run they came up to $60. Was it $60? I'm not sure.
I don't know.
Now they're at 30, I think, or below that.
Everything is discounted.
Yeah, yeah. Make sure you get some.
Yeah.
So yeah, just to sum up, our tickers for today was Decentraland, which is Mana, and was it Vuzi?
Woozy.
We mentioned Microsoft, uh,
Nvidia, of course.
Nvidia, not just because of the metaverse thing, but just because they create all of the chips that are needed for autonomous driving, for
Hmm.
cryptocurrency. If you have a digital toaster, you probably need some type of chip.
Not from Nvidia, but
Not
yeah,
from Nvidia, but
yeah,
um, yeah. So if you believe in any of these things, semiconductor companies are really good, and particularly Nvidia for things like autonomous driving and cryptocurrency. And yeah, then we have Solana and Binance Coin. Um,
BNB.
I'd be a little bit weary on that. Anything you would like to add?
No, nothing,
Yeah.
nothing much. No. I think it was an interesting discussion. This whole again, we'll have to see how this whole legal aspect of the space continues, because it's yeah, it, I think most people won't even pay attention to it. In terms of like price arbitration, I think there might be some opportunities there, because I think most people, they just trade whatever they trade, Dogecoin or whatever, but they don't even consider legal aspects. And I think, yeah, if for example a platform like Binance or Solana would get major legal approval by governments and stuff like that, that's like huge news for the space. And since in the crypto space everything is like mini universes around coins, for example, things on the Binance smart chain will also benefit and stuff like that. So yeah, I think yeah, the platforms and the smart chains around them will be interesting. Same thing with Solana. Like if anything happens positively for the legal entity, it might reflect well on the coin and the coins related to the coin.
Yeah, I mean, people just have to look at how important it is to have low fee rate, because that's primarily the big issue in Ethereum. If you're
Yeah.
trying to trade anything, the fees are incredibly high. I mean, it's nothing you've ever seen. And people in traditional finance are probably like get watery mouths just looking at, what the crypto space can get away with in terms of fees.
Hmm.
You
I
know,
mean,
'Cause, it's pretty. I mean, we say a good deal about what is positive about the crypto space and everything, but I think it's worth mentioning also that if you're trading anything on Ethereum, like gas fees, are incredible. I mean, sometimes you pay you pay as much as you're paying for the crypto in fees.
yeah,
So
but the thing is, it's all about proportions, because if you I think the top of the top for Ethereum fees were like $70. Okay, that sucks if you're buying 100, but if you're sending 100 million, that's the best rate you'll get anywhere.
absolutely, and this is why Ethereum philanthropy and stuff like that is really good. But you look at the average buyer, and it's really not. It's definitely not 100 million.
Yeah,
They're trying to get $100, if
true, true,
and
true.
you have to pay like 30. Never mind $30. I think for 100 pound, what is it, for 100 pound Ethereum? If you're trying to exchange that into any other coin on the Ethereum platform, you might pay more than half of the coin that you're paying for.
Why?
I don't have the actual numbers in front of me, but I definitely tried to buy something before, and the fee might have been more than the actual amount that I was trying to buy.
But I
Um,
don't think at $100 you or pounds.
you would be surprised, man.
I think 50, yeah, but not 100.
Yeah.
It never reached 100, and even with a couple of percents for the platform fee, it wouldn't get to that. I don't think so, unless that token itself had something crazy with it.
Yeah, if I think it just depends on how much the platform is being used, because when Shiba Coin, for example, which is built on Ethereum platform, was popping off, the entire Ethereum network had incredibly high fees.
Yeah.
So that's a huge problem they need to solve, and that's a problem you would never have on Solana. So as someone that comes from traditional finance and all of these swing traders and the people that are trading currencies and so forth that are having fees of 0.000 something, that I don't think they will happily jump on Ethereum. I think they
Yeah.
would happily jump on Solana, however. And looking at the speed of onboarding at Solana, I think it's heading in only one direction, and that's up. Not in a straight line, so
Okay.
so make
Yeah.
sure you buy low and sell high.
Exactly.
I think it's a good time to wrap it up.
It is. It
Everybody for
is.
watching, and
Yeah.
um, yeah, see you next week on Legalized
Thanks,
Finance.
everybody. Yeah. See you next time. Bye.
Peace and love.